Are you letting fear keep you from your divine oneness? Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Christy Sturdivant, and today we are diving into the topic of fear, wounds, and oneness. So, if you have been following the cosmos at all, then you know that this past weekend was kind of a big thing that happened. I promise I'm not going to turn this into an astrology podcast, but these are the tools that I use when I am trying to untangle some energy that has been stuck inside me. So I thought I would share what my thoughts were on this. So back to this past weekend. This past weekend on June 19th, the asteroid, I think it is, Chiron, moved into the sign of Taurus from the sign of Aries, which is kind of a really big transit. And then we had the summer solstice yesterday, the longest day of the year, which is really, when you're looking at it, in a year-long seasonal thing, it's kind of like the full moon of the year, so it's kind of some really big, intense energy. So if you were feeling a little off or anything this past weekend, or maybe you had some really major insights around your body or finances or anything Taurus related, then that might have been why you were feeling that. So anyways, I want to talk a little bit about this because fear has been something that has been coming up in my life a lot. Like I feel like it's reflecting back to me. I'm not really facing any major fears, but it's just a topic that has been coming a lot for me. And I wanted to chat about it because fear is essentially what keeps us from becoming one with our divine self. It's what's keeping us away from connecting with fellow humans. It's just one of those things that our mind creates and runs amok inside of our brains. And it's no good. It keeps us in this space of comfort and keeps us from expanding and growing. And it's what's coming up. So let's chat about it, all right? So I want to dive in a little bit into the Chiron energy. So Chiron is what is often referred to in astrology as the wounded healer. So let's talk a little bit about mythology because I love mythology and I want to talk about what Chiron represents. So Chiron he's half Titan. So he is the half son of Kronos, who had an affair with an Oceanid, and she had this baby that was a hybrid. The man, or the body of a man, the upper torso of a man, the bottom as a horse, and she was disgusted by it. So she abandoned Chiron, and he was adopted by the gods Apollo and Artemis. Now they took him under their wings, and of course Chiron became this super awesome healer and was really good with the bow because of Apollo and Artemis, and he went on to train heroes like Theseus and Ajax and Perseus and Percy Jackson. And he is known as this mentor to demigods and heroes, and he is immortal. And as far as centaurs go, he's very compassionate and loving. He's very much he's like the feminine balance to what centaurs typically are. Centaurs are typically thought of as this very aggressive male or masculine or yang energy. And Chiron is the essence of the yin, the feminine, that kind of energy. And so Chiron is he's kind of a big deal, okay? I don't think that he really gets enough credit because he is half Titan, and he is like the half brother of Zeus and all the other Olympians that came from, that line. So he's kind of a big deal. So he's not just an asteroid. He is serious stuff. So Chiron goes along life training these heroes, and eventually he gets into this battle where he was friends with Heracles, which is the Greek version of Hercules. He's friends with Heracles, but he gets caught in the middle of this battle with some other centaurs, and he gets wounded by an arrow from Heracles. And even though he has some amazing medical skills, thanks to Apollo, he cannot heal this wound that is like festering and just, cripples him, makes him lame, whatever. And he is destined to be wounded forever. Thus, the wounded healer. So eventually, he decides to give up his immortality in order to release Prometheus and from his torture in Tartarus. And Zeus grants him this favor, makes him a constellation in the sky, Sagittarius, and Chiron lives on forever in the stars. It's a beautiful story, very sad, of course, right? But the thing of Chiron is he is the wounded healer because he has two major wounds in his life that he was not able to heal. He was abandoned at birth by his mother, very much an emotional and mental wound, and then he had a physical wound. So in my mind, Chiron gives us two really great opportunities to dive into ourselves and see where are we wounded mentally and emotionally. And then how can we transmute those wounds into a higher vibration to help humanity or the collective, which is what he did when he freed Prometheus. So this is a really great opportunity with Chiron to really go really deep and examine everything. But the thing that stops a lot of people with Chiron and wound healings or whatever is this concept of fear. So, like I said, in the past, Chiron, he moves, the asteroid Chiron moves through the solar system and moves into a new sign every 8 years. And so if you have been paying attention to social media, you will see a lot of people mentioning that, oh, the last time Chiron was in Taurus, this happened. And this is very true, right? The last couple of times that Chiron was in the sign of Taurus, we had the Great Depression, we had the recession in the 80s. Chiron in Taurus is all about financial restructuring and environmental awareness, which are both things that happened during these times. So it's kind of a big transit, and I think that there is a lot of fear being, I don't want to say that they're perpetuating or spreading fear, but it is obviously one of those things that is coming up. And if you see it and you're like, oh my gosh, what does this mean for me? I think that's fair, right? Because moving through change is hard. We get somewhat comfortable in a situation, and even if we are not super happy in it, we know what's going to happen. And so Chiron in Taurus is like, nope, not happening like this anymore. Let's see what comes up. So have no fear, because we are aware of this and people are talking about it. I don't want to lean into this fear-mongering of things that might happen. I want to talk about what we could do at a higher vibrational level to heal ourselves and thus heal everyone around us. Okay, so let's dive into what is the difference between fear and a wound. They are similar, but there are some really major differences. So fear first. Fear is that looking at the future and saying, what if? fear comes in an instance when our comfort or our knowledge of what is going on around us comes into question and we go, whoa, what does that mean? What if this happens? What if that happens? What if this happens? It's a very future-based vibration that is usually not really worth our time or energy. There are some things definitely to be afraid of, right? Velociraptors running through the street, something to be afraid of, survival. Whether or not we are going to make it to the dentist's office in time, not really fear-worthy, right? But our bodies can't really tell the difference between those two things sometimes, especially when we are in this constant state of high emotions and our nervous system is not regulated or feeling safe. So fear spikes when we are looking into the future, and it can look like a lot of different things, right? So we want to be aware if we are living in this state of fear, and we want to recognize whether it's actually fear or if it's something a little bit deeper, which is where our wound comes in. Now, our wound is that part of us. It's like part of our DNA. It's like our source code. It is that thing that we either came into this life with, or it is that thing that our generational ancestry has been dealing with for a long time, and we came here to untangle and unravel and then remember who we are. That is what our wound is. It's very different. Fear is mental. A wound is in your body. It is sitting there waiting to be exposed so that it can heal with the air. Okay, so where are we even going to look at this? Okay, so I will tell you right now, I'm going to put this up here. For me, this is a really major transit because my Chiron is in the sign of Taurus. If you have seen all of these reels, I've been getting a lot of reels saying, like, if you were born between this date and this date, then this is a really big transit for you because Chiron is coming back to Taurus. This is what's happening to me. I am a Gen Xer, and Chiron is coming back to its home base very, very soon. And so this is very impactful for me. This is very impactful for all of us who have this transit, because it means that we have this like super duper opportunity to dive deep within and unravel and untangle a lot of energy that has been stuck and begin to really remember who we are and reconnect with our divine selves and come back to this place of oneness. It's really amazing. And I think that we are missing this opportunity to be talking about it as a collective, and we should probably just stop talking about how this is what happened last time Chiron was in Taurus. It's not really helpful at all. It's good to know the patterns, but if we're not going to change it, then who cares, right? So my Chiron astrologically is in the sign of Taurus. Now, in human design, and this is really interesting, Chiron highlights Gate 24, which is not anywhere in my chart other than Chiron. So Gate 24 is in the Ajna. It is the Gate of Rationalization. And for me, this was very profound when I looked it up and was researching this topic, and I was like, whoa, synchronistic much. The Gate 24 is highlighting my core wound, which I'm going to talk about. My core wound is this fear of being ignorant. It is this fear of not being able to explain what I'm going to say and having to rationalize it. It's the fear of not feeling intuitive enough and constantly searching and reaching for this undefined thing that I'm constantly seeking out. This has been like a really major thing that's come up for me the last 10 years or so. And it is, it's also highlighted because I have an undefined ajna. So this fear is not only mine, it's the collectives, right? I am feeling everybody's fear of ignorance and fear of, oh, what now? Or fear of, is this real? Is this not real? Am I still plugged into the matrix? I don't know, but this has been a fear that has been highlighted in me for a really long time, and I am ready to heal it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Gate 24. So I'm going to look at it through the gene keys. All right. For the shadow of this gate, it's all about addiction, which I feel I see a lot of right now. I have things that I'm sure, I guess you could call them an addiction. I don't love the term, but I do feel like the concept of addiction has been coming up a lot, right? There's a lot of things that we can be addicted to. We could be addicted to our phones. We could be addicted to the million streaming services we have. We could be addicted to consumerism. We can be addicted to anything, really. Food, working out, books, anything, right? Addiction is a very, very, I think it's a serious topic. You know, even if you want to admit that you have something that you're addicted to or not, but this is a major collective issue. I think all of us have this addiction to technology and everything, and we have like really embraced this way of life. That's the shadow of this frequency. But I think that what's really interesting is that the gift of this frequency is innovation. And I feel like that is what I have really been exploring and trying to step into, especially with this podcast, right? Like, I want to look at things in my own personal chart and through the universal laws and currents, and I want to look at this in an innovative way, which is why I have been talking about it in this way of alignment cartography, because it's such a very personal thing. I could never give, a very basic map and be like, this is how you do this and this is how you get into alignment. It's just so personal and nuanced that it's impossible. And so I'm trying to look at what I am trying to explore myself and what I am trying to present in my podcast in a somewhat innovative way so that it helps other people as well as myself, right? Because when my vibration is high, it helps everyone around me. When your vibration is high, it helps everyone around you. It's like a win-win situation for humanity, right? Now, the siddhi of this Gate 24, which is what I really thought was interesting, is the concept of silence. And I feel like now more than ever, it is very difficult to sit in this place of silence. We have so many things that can distract us, aside from just our phones. Even if you were to do a digital detox or something, we are so used to being busy and being productive and moving from one place to another as a society that it's very rare to take that moment and just sit in silence. It's very uncomfortable, right? It's very uncomfortable to sit in your own thoughts for a while. This is where your fear comes up. But when you are able to sit into silence, at least for me, when I am able to sit in silence, I can start to expose that core wound of myself. And I can start to let in those hits of inspiration instead of finding myself in this loop that is very common with Gate 24, where I'm trying to rationalize everything out and think everything out in a step-by-step thing. This is what my Chiron wound is. It's learning to sit in the silence, letting go of the lack of logic that might be moving my train of thoughts along, and then leaning into the, oh yeah, this is my intuition. Wow, this is a magical thought to have. No, I don't need to back it up with science. No, I don't need to back it up with examples. No, I don't need to back it up with some kind of logic. It just is. This is the core wound that I have. And where it's playing out in my life is mostly my business, right? Like I have fears coming up. Okay, if I don't post today, then I am going to lose traction and, somebody's going to kick me out of the algorithm and nobody's going to ever see my stuff. Or if I don't stay on this set schedule that's completely ambiguous anyway, then I am going to lose momentum and I'm going to throw everything off and I'm not going to be able to cover everything I want. Those are my fears. Those are not even real fears, right? Like, who cares? Like, none of that is life and death. None of that is like based on my survival. But those are fears that come up when I start thinking about things and I get stuck in this micro loop of my gate 24 where my Chiron sits. Now, the actual wound of this is this fear, but it's not even the fear. It's this like written in code in my body of your voice does not matter. If you are talking into the void and nobody is listening, is it just going out there and doing anything? Is it just sitting there? Are you making any kind of impact at all, or are you just wasting away? These are like the real core wounds of my gate 24. These are the things that I say, what if I can't? What if I just talk and do these podcasts and no one ever hears them and all of this was pointless? These are these very big, deep existential wounds that all of us have to some degree. Mine just happened to be in my undefined Ajna, and I'm like trying to rationalize what I'm doing, and it freaks me out if I'm not staying on course. So this is how I am moving with this big Chiron transit. I'm saying, where am I observing that I am spinning out and stuck in this micro loop? And what are the inspired actions that I can take to pull myself out of it? Which is really where this whole alignment map thing is coming into play, because it's helping me stay accountable to you guys. Thanks. And hopefully it'll help you so you know exactly where to dive in, and so you can have an example of what I'm doing so that you can start formulating your own course of alignment. So for me, this is what I'm doing for this transit. Okay. I am, because Chiron is in the sign of Taurus. Taurus it's very earthy, right? It's an earth sign. It is all about financial stuff, but I'm not even worrying about the financial stuff right now because that's too big to unpack at this moment in time, right? Like that's not interesting to me. What's interesting to me is my body. This past weekend, I had a lot of conversations with some people about different forms of exercise and the amount of protein we're eating and all kinds of fun stuff. And I was like, okay, what can I do for my body? What can I do for my body that is even like to the next step up from what I want it to be? And so I have come to realize that I need to reactivate different areas in my body to have sensations, because I have already talked about this. I have shut down, right? I've blocked that mental aspect for my mind and body. And even though I've gotten some of it back, I haven't gotten it back fully. So this is what I'm working on during this transit. I am reactivating the sensations of my skin. Like that's specifically what I'm doing, like the skin organ of my body. I'm trying to reactivate that in different ways and techniques and trying to figure that out. I'm going to be listening to my body's cues If I need a rest, then I'm going to rest. If I want to walk, I'm going to walk. If I am, you know, feeling tired, maybe I need to look at, drinking some more water, stuff like that. Obvious things, right? But it's very in alignment with Taurus energy, so we're going to lean into it. I am going to really get into the habit, which feels very synchronistic with this solstice, of following my circadian rhythms. And I'm only eating when the sun is out, and which is no big deal right now in the northern hemisphere because the sun out is, we just had the solstice. So the sun is out all day. This is really going to come into play during these chilly winter months when we have much shorter days. It's a lot harder to stay in that rhythm when I have to cut myself off at 5, but that's okay. I've been doing it for a while and it feels really good. So I'm going to eat in alignment with the sun. I am also going to be putting down my phone and no more scrolling or anything after, I don't know, like 6 o'clock or something at night, because interestingly enough, and if you dive into your human design or your gene key specifically, gate 24 is connected to your pineal gland, which is very sensitive to blue light, which is only given off by the sun at the midday. And so we have this like super active area in our brain that's going during the daylight hours, and then it kind of slows down and goes into, a lower brainwave state. But when we're scrolling on our phone, the phone is activating that pineal gland, which is, making it more active, not giving it enough time to rest, and is burning it out. And it's starting to shut off intuitions. I'm sure you've heard this before. There's a lot of science backing this up. So I'm following the sun and I'm not going to be looking at my phone. I've been doing this for a couple of weeks now. Usually around, 6 or 7, I just put my phone up on its charger and I just leave it, and that's it. And, at first it was very scary because I was like, oh my gosh, what if something happens and somebody needs me and they can't get a hold of me? And then I'm like, well, then that's just how it is. It's not the end of the world. It's not that big a deal. It's more important that I reconnect with my body and give my brain and my body a chance to rest and replenish. It's very bull energy and cow energy, right? That's also what I'm leaning into, this duality of like how we are as humans. Oh, sometimes I really want to lean into that bull energy where I am feeling a little bit aggressive. I'm feeling a little bit motivated. I feel like I want to move. But at the other time, the cow energy it's very feminine. It's very nurturing. It's very much like receive and everything. And that's what this Taurus energy is as well. It's very balanced. Feels very nice in Libra. And I really think that getting into our body right now is one of the best things that we can do. So that's what I'm doing for this big transit. I mean, it's happening for the next 8 years. It's going to be in the sign of Taurus. Chiron will be in the sign of Taurus for like 3 months, and then it's retrograding back into Aries for a while, and then it's going back into Taurus for the next 8 years. So we have this really nice like pop-up window where we can be like, oh, this is what's going to feel like. And then like, oh, but this is what I'm used to right now for a couple months before we go into a full hardcore. So I think this is a really good opportunity to look at where Chiron is landing in your astrological chart, if that is interesting to you, where it's landing in your human design chart, and then just seeing what things come up so that you can start playing around with it and moving more with the energy instead of being resistant to it, because that's what this is all about, right? Like, even if you don't like astrology or you are not interested in human design, there's a lot of other tools out there that you can use. Or if you're like, oh, I already know what my core wound is, then you're amazing. Good job. You're really listening to your body and your intuition, and I think that's great. So to wrap things up, comfort is fear's bestie. Okay. If you are looking around your life and you're not exactly happy where you are. Look at the places where you are feeling a little bit too comfortable that maybe need to switch it up, and then examine what fears might be coming in that's keeping you stuck there. And know that when you lean into that discomfort and you start to make some changes, then you're facing that fear, you're kind of pushing it aside, and you're beginning to expose that I don't love the term wound. Let's call it source code. You're exposing that raw source code that you came in with, saying like, "Hey, this is who you really are. This is what it's really about. What are you going to do about it?" It's it's fun. It's an exciting prospect. We don't have to be afraid of Chiron and Taurus, even though historically it has been a total poop show. But you know what? We can take that now and we can begin to change things so that this time we do so much better, so that we don't have this whole pattern of history repeating itself. So I think it's a really great opportunity, and I hope more people lean into the possibilities and potential of what it could be and what it could mean to raise our vibration, as opposed to just being like, "Oh no, here we go again. It's so scary." We'll be okay. We have survived. We have learned the lessons. Let's learn more of the lessons and become one. And, become one with our divine selves, because that's what it's all about.